Welcome in. You're listening to Medical Spa Insider presented by the American Med Spa Association. We are happy to have you with us. This week, AmSpa founder Alex Thiersch welcomes Reetu Gupta, CEO of WellLabs Plus, in an episode recorded before the Medical Spa Show. Reetu explains how the WellLabs approach to partnership differs from private equity and the importance of building relationships. And if you want to help our podcast build a strong relationship with your platform of choice, ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated.
All right, welcome everybody. This is Alex Thiersch. Welcome to Medical Spa Insider. And we have on the AmSpa hotline, Reetu Gupta, the founder and CEO of WellLabs Plus, which is a very cool med spa platform, I guess we call it, a ownership chain of med spas that is different. So I'll let her explain it because it's something that, we see a lot of nowadays, groups that are owning med spas, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. I think the way that you all have done it is very cool and very different and very owner friendly. So I'd love to get into that. But first of all, welcome to the program. We were just chatting before we went on. The last time we saw each other was last year at AmSpa Medical Spa Show in Vegas. You will be there again this year, of course. And you're doing, I think, a wake up and learn for folks who are interested potentially in partnering with someone on on becoming part of a larger med spa chain. And I'm very, very grateful to have you here, and I'm curious to hear a little bit more about your brand and how you got started and everything in between. But first, welcome to the program. How have you been?
Thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me. And yes, it's been a whole year, so a lot has happened, and I'm excited to be back at AmSpa this year, and excited to tell you more. As the CEO and founder of WellLabs, we are, like you said, a med spa platform. We are family office backed. We bring med spas onto our network, and then we work together in a collaborative way to help businesses grow. We have focused on the eastern half of the country, and we have 30 locations and growing. And we can tell you more about all that transpires within that.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So 30 locations, mostly eastern half of the country. I saw you have a little map on your website. Has that been intentional, or what's been the kind of thought behind that, or is that just how it shook out?
It's intentional. First of all, we love to be very close to our med spas. We are based out in New York. We started in Florida and then have focused up the eastern seaboard, and then now would say have gone as far west as, let's call it, Detroit, all the way down to Dallas. So for us to be close to our med spas, to provide the support that we think is required, being on the eastern half of the country is ideal for us. Could we one day move out west? Perhaps, but for now, that's where we've intentionally focused.
Gotcha. No, makes sense. Makes sense. So I want to back up a little bit, because one of the things that you said was you're a med spa platform, which for those of the uninitiated, just means that you're an ownership group that owns these med spas, acquires med spas. But you do it a little differently. Number one, you said you are family office backed, and I would love for you to kind of unpack that a little bit, because folks, the main kind of version that folks are used to are private equity backed platforms, where you have these private equity funds that come in and some of them, there's a lot of them out there. Some have been successful, some have gotten not so great reputations. It just kind of depends on what you get. But what's different about a family office backed platform than what folks are maybe thinking about?
Yeah, no, for sure. And so we are backed by two families. One is a family out in St. Louis that I've known for a very long time, the Encore Group. And the other is Camino, which is Daniel Levesque's investment firm, and it's his own personal capital. Daniel is the founder of Kind Bar. I'm sure you've heard of. We've all had a Kind Bar. And he has only invested in what he calls our kind of businesses. And we were very lucky to have fallen in that group. But the family piece is, it's only two major investors. They are operators at heart. They have both
Mhm.
built businesses. And so they've really supported our mantra of a people first, staff and culture first approach. We
Right.
have really, I would say, our secret sauce to our success and growth has been our focus on great teams, supporting them, making sure they're compensated at market, they have full benefits packages, paid time off, 401k, medical, dental, vision, ongoing training, and other incentives. And we're building a family culture. And that's really supported by that family office approach. Often you think about PE and you have a lot of focus on investment and returns, taking
Yeah.
cost out, going
Yeah.
for the cheapest vendor. I mean, and not to say all PE is like that. There
Yeah.
are some really great players in the space. But for us, having only two investors that are operators, they're focused on building businesses with us of what they would like to have for themselves. And it
Yeah.
really focused on you've got great teams, the business will take care of itself, and you'll have growth.
Yeah. I don't have I have some familiarity with family office. It seems to me, and from some of the kind of selling points on them is that there's not as quick kind of a timeline, so they can be more patient. Meaning that with some of the knock on PE is that, as you mentioned, they are looking to grow and then sell and get a return on their money. Whereas with family office, I mean, obviously it's an investment, so they're looking for a return, but they can be more patient. So there's not going to be that rush. Do you find that to be true?
Absolutely. But I would say at the same time, it's not holding an investment into perpetuity,
Right.
right? So for our owners who have partnered with us, they also are investors in the
Right.
overall platform. And so I would say we find ourselves smack in the middle in that, we're not PE and that we're looking to generate, call it IRR, which is investment return on capital with a rate of return that is time bound. Or on the other side where you're holding into perpetuity and
Right.
you're never going to really get your money out. So we find ourselves patient capital in the middle, but still with a desire to have returns profile.
Right. So now I mean, you come from a healthcare background. You have is it a marketing background from what I recall?
Yeah.
And how did you become the founder and the CEO of WellLabs Plus? Because you were involved, I want to say, in Ideal Image back in the day, and then some other healthcare groups. So and you have so obviously you have familiarity and experience with large scale, multi-location platforms. Which is obviously key for what you're doing now. Talk about the transition for how you got to where you are and being a chief marketing officer, which I think is your background, to becoming a CEO is different, but also I think can be very very valuable. How did you get where you are?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, so Alex, for me, I've always wanted to find a way to give back. And part of that was realizing in every other, let's call it category, whether it's dental, dermatology, vet, I come from a family of physicians. I'm the only one that didn't go to vet school. All of my cousins, my family members have all built their own practices and have had a way to capitalize on what they've built, build a nest egg for their family, and be part of consolidation in something
Hmm.
bigger. And I knew that there was an opportunity in med spa with great owners. I saw it in my Ideal Image days. Some of our businesses were franchised to really bring that capital structure to the category and then really build something with true partnership that is built by operators as opposed to built by capital
Hmm.
holders. And so I, called on colleagues that I knew that were in the capital space and say, hey, let's do something together. I have a marketing background. I have a background in health and wellness, and I have a background in med spa. I think that creates a perfect combination for leadership. and raising money, but also partnering with amazing owners to build something together. So it was a perfect combination of many things over many years, and the puzzle pieces all fit together.
Yeah. No, that's exciting. So let's talk a little bit about the process. So if someone's out there wondering, okay, how does this work? Like if you're going to come in and talk to them about being a partner, or taking on an investor, what does that look like from WellLabs Plus perspective, and how is it different maybe, or is it the same than kind of what some of the other groups that are out there?
Yeah, I'm sure there's similarities because a lot of groups look for similar things. For us, it really is first about a connection, having a
Mhm.
conversation with owners and saying, look, what are you looking for in the future? What are you looking for in a partner? What are you looking to get out of the next, you know, journey, leg of the journey? Often you hear things like, it's lonely. It's very
Mhm.
hard being an owner. The space is consolidating. The cost of toxin filler are getting more expensive. Bringing
Yeah.
on talent and giving them the benefits and the 401k and all the things that they're expecting to say is hard.
Yeah.
I love doing what I'm doing. I love outstanding patient care. I love delivering great outcomes. But this is just getting too lonely and too hard as a single
Yeah.
owner.
Yeah.
That is our type of partnership because we
Yeah.
know we can add value there. We know that it's not just about I'm looking for capital, but it's I'm looking for partnership. I'm looking to continue on a journey and work together. So our conversation starts there, making sure one, we're aligned on what is our value, vision, and future. And it's a
Mhm.
culture fit. We want to make
Mhm.
sure they've built great teams because that's who we're backing, are
Mhm.
great staff, great individuals. And
Mhm.
from there, and I will say every single partner that we have brought on, we have met face to face. Either Rebecca, my head of business development, myself, or most likely both of us. We do not bring on a partner just over a Zoom call or just sling out an offer for, an investment. We want to get to know you.
Mhm.
From there, the process goes to, okay, let us tell you what a partnership could look like, what a construct could look like. We need financials. We need to get a better understanding of your business, your staff, your growth, your geography, your service mix, your provider mix. So we ask a host of questions. If all of that checks out, then yes, we put together an offer, put together what a construct could look like. And if we're both aligned, we sign what we call an LOI, which I'm sure letter of intent, which is floated around quite often in these
Mhm.
constructs. And then from there, we move on to diligence and ultimately close on the partnership.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it seems to some folks it seems overwhelming at first, but and one of the things you mentioned was that you're looking for, or your ideal, I suppose, candidate is someone who is, you know, loves what they're doing, loves treating, but is just finds that it's hard and lonely. Which I get, because I hear a lot of that too, because it's a tough business, right? It's a tough business to run. Um, is that the, I mean, if someone's looking to sell and then ultimately kind of retire, is that a business you're not going to look at? Or are you only looking at that one type, or are there other options for folks? Just kind of curious.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, we will look for somebody who's
Okay.
looking to sell and retire, but we want you to stay with us. So
Yeah.
it's not a day one, I'm retiring and I'm
Yeah.
out the door. We do have a minimum of about 2 years that you stay with us,
Yeah.
help transition the business appropriately, make sure everybody's happy, and the continuity of the business is
Yeah.
strong.
Yep.
And then we can work out a glide path for you.
Yeah.
So yes, that absolutely is a possibility. And often that too is, an owner who's built an amazing business, it's lonely or it's time for them to move on to other things. And,
Yeah.
their desires are often very similar.
Hey everybody, it's Alex Thiersch. Thank you to CallRail for sponsoring this podcast. If I asked you right now which social campaign or Google ad brought in your highest paying client last month, could you tell me? Most med spa marketers are investing in growth, but can't point to the specific dollar that's actually working. And it's hard to scale when your ROI is a guessing game. That's where CallRail comes in. CallRail's lead engagement platform shows you exactly which marketing channels are driving your highest value clients. Their AI voice assistant even answers and qualifies calls when your team is busy, so you're not missing that high value consultation that could have been your next loyal regular. That's why over 225,000 businesses, including top performing med spas, trust CallRail. It's time to stop hoping your marketing works and start knowing it does. Try CallRail for free for 14 days, no credit card required, at callrail.com/AmSpa. That's callrail.com/AmSpa. And one thing I hear a lot of is that owners are, I mean, they're very protective of their brands, right? They've built this from the beginning. I know how that feels. It's and you're worried about kind of giving over control of your brand to somebody else. I've noticed though that a lot of the brands in your portfolio keep their names, so which is cool. So that's one thing. How did you decide on that, and why do you do that? And how do you assuage people that they still get to, the clinic will still reflect them, and how much of that changes? How much does it become WellLabs Plus versus remaining them?
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, we're partnering with great businesses and
Right.
great owners, right? So we want to preserve that. I mean, if these weren't great businesses to start, yeah, I would agree with you. A delta is required. But here we've got great owners, great teams, great staff, great businesses. So anything to help enhance that is what we're after versus detracting from that. We have started on a journey of bringing our businesses closer to WellLabs. We do offer two options. One is to keep your name and be a WellLabs company. We have found that there is staff that is ecstatic about being part of something bigger. It enables them to know that there's support behind them, there's funding behind them, there's new machinery, there's new services, there's new procedure, there's training. And it's a really good thing. And especially in communities, when you see a name and a WellLabs company, clients will say, oh, it's interesting, you've partnered. This means there's more here, that
Right.
You're not going to just fold up shop and go away. My provider, my staff is going to be here. And then there have been clinics that have wanted to become a full WellLabs business, which we've supported as well. So we're open to both. We focus on what the owner wants, and it's a conversation. And we're excited to have the conversation and just do what's right. I mean, at the end of the day, we got to do what's right for staff and do what's right for our clients.
Yeah. Yeah. What are some of the typical questions you get from owner operators throughout this process? Like, are there ones that you're going to get that, or like just some typical fears that they bring up that you're always having to address?
Yeah. I mean, is always about clinical autonomy.
Yeah.
Are you going to come in and tell me what services I can do, what talks I can use, how I treat? The answer is no. All clinical choices remain at the staff level. We have partnerships with all the vendors. So if you want to use Botox, Dysport, Xeomin, Juvo, Daxi, and anything new coming out, that's your call. Whatever is right for the client and what is right for the provider. So all of that remains the same. Questions come up of, what happens to my staff? We keep everybody. Alex, we have a 100% retention rate post-close, because our goal is to ensure everybody is on the journey with us.
Yeah.
And that is a really good thing. And so
that's awesome.
We typically will not close on a business until we know everybody is going to be on the other side.
Yeah. And how does, and tell me what you can, how does like pricing work, like post-close? Is WellLabs, are y'all like kind of setting pricing models for each clinic, or or minimums, and the clinic is then setting pricing for toxin, or is there some commonality there? How does that work?
You mean the price that goes to the client, or the price that we are purchasing Botox for?
The purchase price to the price to the consumer, right?
The price to the consumer. Yeah, we keep the price as is. for the consumer. Each clinic and every market is different,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Gotcha.
Price for tox in Boca varies very different than, um, Allentown, Pennsylvania, than it
Right.
does in Dallas. And so it's market appropriate. Obviously, we, um,
You're able to
think about
control your
discount.
purchasing. Yeah. Purchasing
We're
because
able
you,
to control
right.
purchasing, and that's a big part of it, right? Why partnership makes a lot of sense because we get national account status and national account prices on the other
Mhm.
end, which
Right.
allows us also to be competitive in the marketplace.
Yeah. What about, another thing I've heard is just, like, what about if a clinic wants to bring in new equipment? Like there's a shiny new laser that they really want. How does that work? How do they go about that?
Yeah, we get this question all the time. We will look at the clinic, make sure it makes sense from an ROI perspective, but more importantly, that the staff will use it. BBL
Hmm.
Moxie has been the, choice, um, service that everybody has been wanting, I would say, over the last 6 months. And we've purchased the machines, we've put them in clinic, and yeah, I mean, it's basically raise your
Yeah.
hand. Let's work through a business case. Very
Hmm.
informal. We'll purchase the machine and yeah,
Yeah.
off you go. Off you
Yeah.
go.
It's awesome. It seems very owner friendly post close, which is interesting and cool.
I mean, I think we can be owner friendly because we're growing
Yeah.
and we're profitable and referrals are coming in from our owners. I think these are all virtuous cycles, Alex. I think,
Yeah.
like this is why we always started from, we always want to do the right thing. We want to bring on great owners. We want healthy growing businesses, and then we want to be additive. And because
Yeah.
we've had that mantra, and because we have the growth and we have the profitability, we've been able to continue to be, like you said, owner friendly on the other side.
Yeah. It's been, I mean, gosh, like, since really all this consolidation started, it's been going on 5 years, maybe. Really,
Yeah.
post COVID, and then 22, 23, when really things started kind of picking up. Um, what's different now? I mean, I'm just curious. Like that, I remember asking this question. Maybe it was on one of the panels that you were on in MSS way back then. Kind of trying to propel myself forward and be like, what's this going to look like in a couple of years, 3 years? And here we are, 3, 4 years ahead. Like, looking back on it, anything surprised you over the last couple of years about the way things have shaked out, or anything that's gone kind of according to plan? Anything different, new, anything like
Yeah.
that?
What has surprised me the most is over, and I've been watching the space. I mean, this year will be my fourth AmSpa. So, in the
Hmm.
5 years, I've been to four
Yeah.
out of the five. Um, what surprised me the most is the winners and the losers in this
Hmm.
space. I would say a number of platforms and good people, good
Hmm.
intentions, smart, talented, have just gone too quickly. Didn't
Hmm.
always have sort of their North Star and their ethos, really grounded. And
Hmm.
so they've gone a little bit sideways. And I think for us, we've been slower to enter, though we've been thinking about this for a very long time. We spent a lot of time up front on strategy, plan, what we're going to focus on. Um, and so we've been building slowly. You'll feel that we grew a lot this last like 12 months, but it's because,
Yeah.
we went slow to go fast.
Hmm.
And so that's been the surprising thing to me is, the platforms that have really stayed true to who they are and doing right by people. Maybe they've gone slower, but we're seeing, two sides to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's wise. And I guess the other question I have is what's, like, some of these platforms that have maybe moved too quickly. Um, there's a reason they've done that, and I think their experiences. And I don't know this for certain because no one can know exactly what their motivations are, but I feel like a lot of them were basing med spa growth and expansion and roll ups on prior industry roll ups like dental and all those other things. And I've always felt like it's a different industry. It's a different category. What's different in your mind, um, that has led you to take a slower approach, and why is that smarter than going quickly? And I guess what's the impact of going quickly, and why is that impactful? And I guess another way to ask it is, what's different about this industry from other industries that makes it better to go slow?
Yeah, there's a lot in there. So I mean, look, I was in a dental roll-up, the largest in Canada. I mean, we had 450 dental practices. The thing that and we that business went quickly, and we took it
Hmm.
public and IPO'd, and now it's come back being private. But the thing that I learned the most, because I was the chief marketing officer and I
Hmm.
focused, post the deal on the teams and the staff and helping grow those businesses. These are people businesses. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it's people. It's people that come to work every day. They want to do their best. They want to deliver great outcomes for, person with a toothache to everything. Um,
Hmm.
and so my biggest learning was, if you focus on the people first, you're going to do well.
Hmm.
But the reality is people move very slowly because it takes time for change. It takes time to make these decisions. It takes time to say, I'm ready to join a platform. And so when I was raising capital, I said, look, mainly guys and women on the Camino side, I have mainly women investors, that we're going to do this and we're going to do this right. But time is a component here where if we do things right, eventually this is not going to be linear, it's going to be exponential in growth. And these
Hmm.
have to be people first businesses, because that's what the business is. So I think
Hmm.
people forget that these are people first businesses, and so they go very quickly because it feels like it's like a gold rush. And if I can,
Yeah.
I feel like over the last 5 years in the early innings, it felt like it was a gold rush. And if you could get in and get out, you could, make
Yeah.
money. And then they forgot the people side of it.
Yeah, I think that's right. And it's the people side of it is not only from the acquisition of the business and the business then having to grow, but it's also such a people centered business from the patient side too. I mean, patients want to deal with people. And it's a very personal business. You're asking someone to inject sometimes things into your face and your lips, and that's not going to be
Yeah.
taken lightly. So you're not just going to do that with anybody. Um, I mean, what's the future hold? I mean, we've got so much craziness right now with AI, and healthcare continues to kind of chug along, and I think it's one area that when I talk to folks, everyone's excited about healthcare because it's the one where we know, at least in the short term, the foreseeable future, we still need people, not robots. And um, what do you see the future is for Well Labs? Do you have any, you know, goals, numeric goals for number of clinics, or what are you looking for?
Yeah. So my long-term vision, and I can, tell you where we'd like to be in a year or two, but my long-term vision for the business is, I see aesthetics and wellness as the future of healthcare. So if you think about it, there are so many people living longer. They are no longer focused on the 70s, but 80s and 90s. And people don't want to just live longer, they want to live better. They want
Mhm.
not just age, but they want vitality. And with that comes focus on overall well being, longevity. And so our clinics, we are moving with where the space is moving. It's not just about aesthetics. It's not about just toxin filler. It is
Right.
overall weight management, GLP-1s, HRT, wellness, a holistic body composition approach, NADs, peptides, male health. We have a men's clinic down in Fayetteville. And so there's just so much happening in the category. I personally believe, coming also, like I mentioned, as a family of physicians, the healthcare industry is broken in a number of ways. And many people will tell you, but my my thesis is the healthcare industry is so focused on acute care. It's focused on disease and disease treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And people these days, if you're healthy, they want to know that they're doing all the things to be in a place where they're going to be living longer, better lives. And so there's so much more data, between your Aura ring and your smartwatch, and that you have so much more data and so much more control. And so if you have that control, MedSpa can be very much the center of that and provide a holistic approach for you to continue to be on the positive side of overall well-being. So my thesis is the puck is headed to longevity and overall wellness, and we would love to be at the center of that. And we would love to ebb and flow with the space and, appropriately be a part of it. Now, over the next couple of years, would I love to be, 40, 50, 60 locations and growing, bringing on great partners and bringing on services that make sense for where our clients want to be and meet them where they want to be. That's a near-term goal. And the long-term goal is really to be part of this overall well-being and longevity ecosystem.
Yeah. I mean, that's where it's going. There's no question about it. We look at our meeting coming up. It's everywhere. And if you're not talking about it, everyone's talking about it. Everyone's talking about different treatments. It's becoming it's the through line now. And I think what's cool about aesthetics, and then this is you're well positioned for this, especially with the name, WellLabs. It's aesthetics is positioned because it's, in my view, easier to blend aesthetics and wellness longevity than it is to take a wellness longevity solely and wellness longevity and then add in aesthetics. So the aesthetics component, people really want somebody with experience there. But you can bring in the other side, and and then maybe this is just me being biased, but I feel like there's a little bit of there's an ease of transition there. And so I think we're really well suited to do that. And I think what I'm seeing though is that we really need to come together and start kind of dealing with how we're going to address this, because there is a lot of regulation. There's going to be a lot of things going on that I'm already seeing that we're going to have to address here soon. But I agree. It's an exciting time, no doubt.
Absolutely. And I look forward to see where the future is going to go. We're in such an advantage and just honored and privileged to be part of wherever this category grows. And, we love coming to AmSpa every year. It's just such a great conference. We learn so much, meet great people. Thank you for putting this on every year. I mean, you're connecting the brightest minds together. It's such a really of caliber event.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, and you are first on the list as always. Um, and where can folks find out more about Well Labs if they want to learn more?
Yeah, absolutely. You can go to our website. So, wellabsplus.com or on Instagram. You can always reach out to me from the website. Rebecca Axel is our head of business development. So you can find us, I'm sure.
Okay.
If you and we'll be at AmSpa.
You'll be at the show. Okay, gotcha.
We'll be at
And you're
the
going to
show.
be there. Is Rebecca going to be there as well?
Rebecca will be there. We're bringing
Okay.
the whole team, and we're bringing owners with us this year as well.
Oh, awesome.
They all love to come and really talk to other owners and
That's awesome.
sell the dream.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be so much fun. Gosh, we're 5 weeks away,
Wow.
which is frightening and exciting and terrifying and
Well, you guys
exciting.
always put it together so well.
I know everyone keeps telling me that, but it's still frightening. But 5 weeks, but it's going to be great. And the turnout is already going to be, exceed our expectations. So it's going to be so cool. We're very, very excited for it. Look forward to seeing you there. You always do a great job. Your panel is always great. The Wake Up and Learn is going to be cool. I encourage folks to come out and check out what you have to offer, because, and I don't say this about everybody. It's some of these platforms they're different. Some are better than others, and it's kind of what fits what you're trying to do. And there's a lot of them that that won't fit a certain type of personality, and I think some that fit other personalities. And so for those that are kind of resonating with providers who want to be part of something, I think they should check you guys out. It's cool.
Yeah, we love that. Thank you for saying that. It all is about fit. At the end of the day, you'll know it when you see it. It is about meeting somebody face to face and saying, are these my people?
Yeah,
And,
that's right.
If we're your people, we'd love for you to have a conversation and join us and come talk to us. It's only through a conversation that you're going to know that. And so we're open to any and all conversations. Come by. We've got a booth. We're on the Wake Up and Learn panel. We're also in the SkyTail M&A piece that's happening on the Thursday. So I'll be on that panel. So lots of different touch points this year.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you joining, and we will see you in 5 weeks. And everyone else, make sure to get your tickets if you haven't already. And we'll see you there. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you to our producer, Madeline Moeller, marketing content coordinator, who organizes the podcast schedule and guests and provides topics and talking points. Audio and video editing, voiceover, graphics, and platform management is provided by myself, Derek Hawk, digital marketing supervisor. Our theme is provided by Maka Music. Thank you for watching or listening to the Medical Spa Insider podcast. Please follow or subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for future episodes. Ratings and reviews are greatly appreciated. For more information about the American Med Spa Association, visit americanmedspa.org. Reference to any specific product or entity does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by AmSpa. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance in the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity that they represent. AmSpa provides this podcast as a public service for educational purposes only. This podcast does not constitute legal advice, nor does it establish an attorney-client relationship. Please consult with an attorney on your legal issues. And as always, thank you for listening to the Medical Spa Insider. Remember, compliance is cool.